Here we go. What's going on, everybody? How y'all doing? This is your brother Shabbaz, sometimes Professor Sheabaz, just coming to you live for a quick update. Don't know if you've seen this. It just popped up on my screen, and I figured, now this is something to talk about. So, according to the latest, y'all know SNAP benefits supposed to go dead tomorrow. Today's the last day, and for the most part, ain't nobody budging. Shout out to the Democrats for holding their ground. I hope they continue to hold their ground. But they've been working in the background. They've been suing. They've been fighting. A lot of stuff been going on. And so this just popped up on my screen. The Trump administration has been blocked from suspending SNAP benefits for millions of Americans. That's right, they've been blocked. Now, you can't get blocked if somebody ain't taking you to court. So, yeah, that's right. The Democrats been fighting. They've been fighting a good fight. Shout out to them. One judge issued temporary restraining order, while another judge ruled that the government must continue funding the program, the SNAP benefits program, because it helps so many Americans. Like, y'all can't just close up shop in the span of a few weeks and say that's it. So to let you know, 2 federal judges issued back-to-back rulings on Friday. That's today, ladies and gentlemen. In separate cases, so that, it's people fighting in different areas. Both federal judges, ordered the Trump administration to use contingency funds to continue paying for food stamps during the government shutdown. Contingency funds. So all them people that was even siding with the Republicans talking about, well, if they ain't got no money, what you expect for them to do? This is the Democrats' fault because they ain't got no money. I told y'all they was lying. A federal judge in Rhode Island, just earlier this afternoon, blocked the Trump administration from suspending all food aid for millions of Americans in a case brought by a group of U.S. cities, nonprofit organizations, and a trade union. So shout out to the trade union, the labor that didn't sell out. Now, I'm going to go ahead and read a little bit more of this article for you. At almost the same time, so that was jumping off in Rhode Island. In a separate case in Massachusetts, the judge in that case ruled that the government must continue. Y'all don't got a choice. The government must continue to fund a program that helps low-income households, that helps them stave off food insecurity. Now, this case was brought by the Democratic attorneys generals from 22 states and the District of Columbia, and 3 governors who all work together. See, that's what that unity and solidarity get for you, to challenge this administration. Now, it should be noted, clearly, obviously, Captain Obvious here to let you know what you didn't already know. Without the intervention, the U.S. Department of Agriculture said it planned to suspend payments for the Supplemental Nutritional Assistance Program, known as SNAP, or food stamps, on Saturday, November 1. That's tomorrow. We know that part. Like I said, Captain Obvious. But, if they still, because we don't know if the Trump administration is going to follow the rules. So far, they don't. And every time they get a decision every time a judge says, no, you can't do that, they go ahead and do it anyhow. But if they don't follow the rules, obviously, clearly, households, millions of households will be in financial and food security jeopardy. Now, let me go ahead with the rest of this. Judge McConnell, a U.S. district judge in Providence, he's the one in Rhode Island who issued a temporary restraining order at the behest of the plaintiffs. They had argued that the U.S. Department of Agriculture's suspension of SNAP benefits which is due to kick in on Saturday. They argued that this is unlawful. So again, we do got people fighting. The Trump administration contended that the agency lacks authority to pay them until Congress passes a spending bill that will end the government shutdown. which began on October 1. So again, here's the argument. The Trump administration is saying if the government is shut down, then there is no money. And the Democrats are saying, well, that's just not true. That's not the way budget works. Now, you would think somebody who supposedly has all this business acumen would know this. Somebody with all this business acumen would know how budgets operate. You put money into the budget a year ahead of time so that if something happens down the pike, you're already protected and insulated, at least for that particular year. So everything that is in the SNAP benefits budget was put there last year before he even took office. Maybe that's why he's so angry about it. Now, in the Massachusetts case, the U.S. District Judge, I love this name, Indira Talwani in Boston, gave the administration until Monday to say whether it would partly pay for the benefits for November with contingency money or whether it will fully fund the benefits with additional funds. So ain't that something? They didn't give them a choice, or I shouldn't say they. Judge Indira Talwani did not give the Trump administration a choice. The judge said, you got two options. You either pay it with the SNAP money or you pay it with some other fund out of the government. But you're the one sitting on all the cash, so cough it up. Now, clearly, as I alluded, obviously, this administration has a track record of just disregarding what the courts say. And so as of now, it's not immediately clear how quickly the debit cards that the beneficiaries use to buy groceries could be reloaded after the ruling. And the ruling was early. It's going on 5 now, maybe 2-3 hours ago. We will wait to see what's going on. Because if they do turn off the lights, so to speak, then technically it takes 1 to 2 weeks to turn them back on. Now, again, this does, like I said in another video, this is still part of the political chess move because it still gives him the ability to make people hurt. Why? Because cruelty is the point. Because cruelty is the point, ladies and gentlemen. That's what they want. Now, it should go without saying, but I'm going to say it anyhow. Because even with this judge's ruling, y'all know what they're going to do. They're going to appeal. In their challenge, however, aside from the Republicans appealing, the Democrat-led states argued, this is the kicker, the Democratic-led states argued that the Agriculture Department has the legal authority and the available funds to at least partially maintain the program during the shutdown. So again, this idea that there is no money is a blatant, bold-faced lie. The money is sitting there. They said because of the USDA's actions, SNAP benefits will be delayed for the first time since the program's inception. The state said in their complaint, worse still, the USDA suspended SNAP benefits even though, on information and belief, it has funds available to it that are sufficient to fund all, or at least a substantial portion of November SNAP benefits. So they got the money. They know they got the money. They know they can disperse the money. And they still said, well, their leader said for us not to do it. So what y'all think about this article? What y'all think about the fight? The fight is on. Let me see. What else do we need to find out about this? Now, the Trump administration contends that the agency lacks the authority. Well, I think we already said that. So anyhow, ladies and gentlemen, there you have it. We are still in standoff territory. We are still in I don't know what's going to happen territory. Because we don't know. But it is an interesting development that amidst all of the gaslighting from the Republicans, that we at least know that the Democrats are not taking it sitting down. We at least know that they are actively pursuing challenges in the courts. We know that the courts are siding with the Democrats. The courts are saying, release the money. So the same way the good people of the country are saying, release the Epstein files, the judges are saying, release the SNAP benefits. So there you have it. Just a quick update for you. If you're here, if you're listening, if you're paying attention, if you're in the chat room, hit the like button. Share this video, share this update with anybody that might be interested to know. It's not just about the SNAP benefits, although clearly that is what is most important. But it's about the fact that people are fighting back. That's the real thing here. So the administration warned that a court order requiring it to use emergency reserves to fund SNAP would be operationally fraught, arguing it could take weeks to deliver benefits. Again, more gaslighting, more lies. If the money is already sitting there, y'all know it's just a flip of the switch. But like I said, we will see what's going on as the time ticks down. We're hitting 5 p.m. and we have these 2 court cases. Rhode Island and Massachusetts have both said, well, Taco Man, you still got to pay the money. So the USDA's website now carries a strikingly partisan notice accusing state Senate Democrats that, let me see, where I done lost my place in this thing. So the USDA's website is now trying to accuse the Senate Democrats incorrectly of shutting down the government to provide health care to undocumented immigrants and trans Americans. Bottom line, the well has run dry. This is what they're saying. So here's the thing. If the well is run dry, how is it that the lawsuit, how is it that the judge can look at all of the documentation and say, the well is far from dry. The well is quite filled. Lies and gaslighting from the people in charge. The administration's refusal to intervene underscored a broader strategy during a shutdown. Now, the second longest in U.S. history. And guess who was responsible for the first one? Throughout the impasse, Trump has selectively reprogrammed federal funds to protect priorities central to his political agenda, not the benefit of the good people of the country. Now, he apparently is paying troops and law enforcement officers, including those involved in immigration enforcement, or especially those who are involved in immigration enforcement, especially all those criminals that they're hiring, all those domestic abuse convicts, all those bank robbers, all those thugs who are now being employed by the Trump's federal government administration. But like I said, we now currently literally have an impasse. The courts are saying you got to pay. So hopefully they're going to figure out a way to force the federal government's hand, the Trump administration's hand, to follow the laws. The laws are already in place. The budget is already in place. And the judges have said you can fund it with the money out of pocket left, or you can fund it with the money out of pocket right. But you're going to pay them people their money so they can eat. That's the update I have for you, ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, anybody that knows how to look beyond the smoke and mirrors. Appreciate it if you hit the like button. Appreciate it if you drop a comment and tell me what you think. Do you think the president should come up off of that money and pay these people? Or do you think he should stand ground and let people starve? How about that? What do you think? This is your brother Shabbaz. This is The Proper Perspective. Bracing for the loss of federal nutrition assistance, food banks and pantries already stretched thin and amid rising food prices were bracing for a surge in demand. Officials in states such as Virginia, Maryland, Louisiana, Hawaii, and Minnesota have announced plans to tap state and local funds to provide food aid and assist, but they are all saying, we ain't got it. We can help. We'll do everything we can to help, but we don't have it. If the federal government doesn't release that money, people will starve. Period. Point blank. End of story. That's all there is to it. Now, it is interesting to note the governors of New York, Delaware, Oregon, and Virginia have declared the looming crisis a state of emergency. So the same way, as bad as it is, shout out to, prayers go to the Caribbean. Prayers go out to Jamaica because Hurricane, I think it's Melissa this time, has done ravaging damage. And here, we may not be suffering from a hurricane, but ain't nobody gonna have no money to eat. Nobody's gonna have any money. So unlike Washington Republicans, I won't sit idly by as families struggle to put food on the table. This is what New York's Governor Kathy Hochul, a Democrat, announced on Thursday. So the Democrats are fighting, and they're looking at their own state budgets to figure out where we can get some money to help get everybody enough money to take care of themselves. And the Republicans are closing doors and gaslighting. If this ain't the best example of voting matters, voting counts, and we should not be voting red, I don't know what is. But I'm going to get up out of here. Just wanted to jump on here and let y'all know there are some things moving down the pike. Hopefully everybody wakes up tomorrow morning and they got their SNAP benefits. If I catch another news update, I'm going to come online and holler at you and let you know what's popping. This is your brother Shabbaz. We look through the smoke and mirrors. We put the puzzle pieces together, and we do our best to give you the proper perspective. Peace.